could be alone between city lights. We don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. I'm so glad to have you with me here on a Monday night. Oh yeah, that's way better. Gotta have standards here. We gotta have standards here, folks. Anything else that's wrong about my set? Also known as my office, also known as my room, the room I spend 65% of my life in. I'm not really going to dig too deep into how accurate that number actually is. What's up, you guys? Welcome to the stream. It is Monday night, and it's time to live stream for you guys. I got something exciting today. I got something exciting done today. I'm going to share it with you guys. It's coming. Some of you guys have already seen this on a previous live stream. I teased it. It is a video that's coming out this week. It's another video where I put a little bit of extra effort in to do something ultra entertaining, and I am going to show you a little teaser of it. You'll get to see the whole thing when it finally comes out on my channel. Probably tomorrow. The edit is completely done. I just need to render and upload it. I think it's... But I'll give a little teaser to the folks who showed up for the live stream in just a minute. But before I do that, I want to thank the folks who've showed up on the live stream. You beautiful people. All 184. 184. Come on. Those are rookie numbers. We got to get those numbers up. Gonna get those numbers up. I got yeah. I I talked to Drew today about Rampage, and he said he couldn't tell me more details, but he said that I should come prepared to record a video on Thursday and to edit and release the video as fast as possible. I don't know what that means, but I think he's got something good in his freaking pockets for, I don't know. He wouldn't tell me. I don't know. But that's not what we were talking about. Sorry, I saw a comment that made me think of that. I am super happy that you guys are here. This is you here in the chat. I'm going to be reading your comments. Are you new here? Is this your first time? This is what we do. I don't game. I don't take my clothes off for money. I would. But nobody pays me. They just leave. All my analytics just go straight down the hill. I just answer your questions. I read your questions. I answer your questions for about 2 hours. So you guys want to start asking questions? You want to make sure I get your question? Hit the $sign down here. Leave a super chat. Make sure you type your message. Don't just leave the money. You got to type the message. People seem to get that wrong every now and then. I'll be reading the super chats a little bit later. And also, of course, thank you. These beautiful people on the right are my patrons here in the Discord server. The beautiful people in my Discord server. Thank you, Marilyn Manson. He's changed. Oh, yeah. But Vince Vaughn also changed. Matthew McConaughey hasn't changed. Interesting. Isn't that interesting? Bardwell also changed. Up and down. I'm actually not that much younger, Kamal, in that picture. I just didn't have a beard. This is the bottom line. So, there we go. Everybody wants to know where I got this shirt. My 3-year-old son saw this shirt, and he recognizes quadcopters. He loves quadcopters because, of course, his dad loves quadcopters, and he just thinks I'm the coolest person in the world. He'll get over it. And so he points at this shirt and he goes, "Quadcopter." I'm like, "Yeah, that is a quadcopter." He goes, "Quadcopter on fire." I was like, "Well, you're right." And he goes, "Oh, we need a fire truck." And then he runs into the other room to get his fire truck. Kid's a real, he's sharp as a tack. This shirt came with, this shirt came in a box from FPV Crate, but I don't know if they actually are selling it. I mean, surely if they sent it to me, then it will. Oh, have I spoiled it? Have I? Oh, I have to take my shirt off right now. I assumed when they sent me a shirt. Oh, I mean, it's too late now. It's done. I don't know. Sorry. Let's look in merch and hope this shirt is there. Oh, it is. Thank God. Woohoo! Oh, that was a close one. I was like, oh no, I've spoiled it. Do I have an affiliate for FPV Crate? I do. Hey, if you want to pick up any of these shirts, they're pretty damn cool shirts. Honestly. They're actually, these are some badass shirts. I haven't even seen some of these. They're all badass shirts. Can I just... I get what you're going for. That one, that's a little... it's a little plain for me. Maybe I just don't like green. I'm not a big fan of the green. I like the black shirt. They're all good. I gotta buy all of these. Anyway, that's where you can get it. Including this one. I'm gonna throw a link in the chat for you beautiful people. It's an affiliate link. I get a little cut of that. So they're already selling the shirt for $15. I don't know. What do they give me? Like 3 cents? But anyway, you can check that out. Welcome to the live stream. Let's get some questions answered. We didn't come here to chat, to chitty chat. You didn't come here to chitty chat. Came here to get your questions answered. So, Chemtrail Pilot says that's last month's crate. Okay, great. They sent me the shirts. I assumed they would have told me, hey, don't release this before such and such a date, if that was important. But I also oftentimes miss things like that and just like, oh, whatever. Okay. I'm looking for a question to answer. FPV Sneak wants to know. Geez, FPV Sneak, this is a... Which should I increase to get less prop wash when coming down from a punch? All of this CLI bullshit you've given me. Why are you giving me CLI parameters? Can we just go to the dang... Yeah, none of those are right is the actual answer. So let's think about this the way that we should think about this, or at least the way that I would think about this, which is to go to the PID tuning tab. So the Chris Rosser way of PID tuning, which I think, which Mark Spatz, who is also an excellent PID tuner, basically agrees with, but I'm going to attribute it to Chris Rosser because he is the one who sort of made the videos that laid it out that got me. Anyway, I will attribute it to him. What he says you do is the first thing you do is you raise master multiplier and you look for any sign that you've gone too far on the master multiplier. Things like hot motors, twitching. His goal is to get the D gain as high as possible. And that's going to give you the best prop wash handling. So you're going to raise the master multiplier until you start to see signs of excess D gain, not enough filtering, hot motors, rough sounding motors, trilling oscillation, all these things. And once you reach that point, then you want to find the optimal PD balance. And you can, I don't actually know how he does it in 4.3 because they changed the way the sliders work in 4.3. That's interesting. Excuse me. Excuse me. So you could, I would probably mess with the D gains because the P gains is going to change both the P and the I, and I'm not sure you want that. So I would raise the master, but then, oh, that's weird. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I would mess with P. I would raise and lower P to try to get, to adjust bounce back. But the short version of your answer is that if you've got everything the way you want it and all you want to do is get rid of a little prop wash, the number one thing I would do is raise the D gain slider. Okay? I would raise, I mean, increasing D gains generally makes prop wash better right up until the point where you smoke a motor. So like, the other thing you can do is you can go into filter settings and you can move the filter sliders to the right. And that will generally also make prop wash oscillation better. So that's the actual answer to your question. I didn't answer the exact question you asked, but I tried to answer the question I thought you were asking. Actually, I'm a little surprised on that the Betaflight devs put the P and I gain on a single slider. Because a lot of the time, you know, you want to adjust the P gain, but I don't know why you would want to tweak the I gain at the same time. I assume that they know what they're talking about, and they did it for a good reason, but it did surprise me a little. Jonathan Lewis. Is there video on wiring your VTX and camera to your FC? Because I fried my last two. What do you mean by my VTX and camera, Jonathan? Are you working on the Bardwell beginner build? GemFan Hobby, I think the black box erase less than 30 mode means that it erases all black box logs less than 30 seconds. But I don't know that for sure. I'm just guessing based on the name and by what seems to me to make sense. I have never actually used that mode. Going back to Jonathan Lewis's question. Jonathan, are you asking about this drone bundle here? You're frying this VTX? The number one way that people fried the VTX in this is that they mistakenly wire VBAT to the 5-volt input instead of to... Let me see if I can find... here we go. So this VTX... Oh, come on. This VTX has a 5-volt output right here, right? And it's got a VBAT input. And people mistakenly feed VBAT into the 5-volt output and fry it. That will 100% fry it every time. So that error, if you made that error twice, you would fry it. The thing is, if you're wiring this part correctly, VBAT and ground, you really shouldn't be able to fry this VTX because it's rated for 26 volts or whatever. So unless you're using an 8S battery, which surely you're not. Sebi D FPV. It does take, I see. Let's look at the actual name of that black box erase mode. Because GemFan said it was less than 30 seconds, but that's actually, that may not actually be right. They may have accidentally typed the, let's look at that mode. Oh, no. I see. GemFan. It was greater than 30 seconds. GemFan, I thought... Oops. Sorry, that's a mistake. I thought you were telling me that there was a new mode that I'd never heard of that was less than 30 seconds. What it actually is black box erase greater than 30 seconds. What that means is that once you activate that mode, it's going to take at least 30 seconds to erase all the black box logs, and the quad will be unusable during that time. So they're warning you. You don't have to hold it. You just have to trigger the mode one time. But once you do, it's going to be offline for a minute or two. That's what they're telling you. Thank you for that clarification there to the folks in the chat. Sebi D specifically. Jonathan Lewis, my camera is good, but my last two VTX smoked when I plugged them in. Jonathan, I think you're wiring them wrong, and the number one way people wire them wrong is to put VBAT on the 5-volt pad. So see if you're doing that. Okay. That's how we do, folks. That's how we do. You ask questions, I answer them. Sometimes I get them wrong, and you tell me I'm an idiot. But we all sit here, we have a good time, and hopefully we leave a little bit smarter. Okay, I said I was gonna show you the thing that I was going to show you, and then we'll get some super chats. So this is the beginning of my review of the Hero 10 Bones. If you saw the teaser of this before, wait till you see what's happened. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Maybe I'll play the whole thing. We got a nice color grade here. That's cool. Damn it. You broke another one. I know what I need. And I know where to get it. So fucking proud of myself. .661 FPV, you saw this when there wasn't an orchestral score. This is with the orchestral score and the color grade. Yeah, this is the final edit. And Munra, this took about an hour. Total time was about an hour shooting this. Hey, Phantom FPV.
Excellent work, Dr. Jones. But you've wasted your time. GoPro is just about to release a new FPV-focused action camera, and it's pretty much guaranteed to be a new hero session. I mean, what else could it be?
But actually,
Oh, I realized you guys were saying I already saw this right about the time it started, but because of the chat lag, I was already like 45 seconds into it. And I was like, what do you mean? You hadn't heard the music yet, I'm guessing. I'm guessing you actually hadn't heard this. So I hired some dude off Fiverr to write an orchestral score for it. He's completely original. He did an amazing job. And I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm so excited about it. So there you go. Yeah, and then we'll segue into a review of the Hero 10 Bones. So that's coming out almost certainly tomorrow. So okay, let's do those super chats that I promised to get. Let's get those super chats that Where did my social stream go? Why did it break? Is there a search? There's a search item. I see. It didn't break. That's me. All right, here we go. Samuel M. Are separate ESCs still at all viable? Pretty much no. There's very few frames being made for them and very few separate ESCs being made. So, I guess I should give a shout out to. I should probably give a shout out to the guy. I should credit the guy, right? Like in the. I don't know. I should probably credit the guy in the description or something. But this guy was on Fiverr. He is the Vicken is who he is. Paid $153 for that score, in case you were wondering. And this is what happens. This is how you do it. So anyway, that's thank you to the Vicken. If anybody wants to hire somebody to write a musical score, he does all kinds of musical work, but he did a great job. Okay, super chats. Lewis, thank you for a $5 super chat. Just the shirt, talking about what I would potentially disrobe. For $5, it's going to take a lot more than $5 to get my shirt off, I assure you. This isn't that kind of stream, kids. You're going to have to go over to my OnlyFans. Articulated, thank you for a $5 super chat. The two brand new GEP-RC Mark Vs I've flown have had issues with the video cutting out during flips and power loops. What's causing this? Well, I hate to, that sucks, first of all. So I should say I didn't have that issue. That's just that doesn't help you. That doesn't make you feel better, but I just wanted to say, for the record, that didn't happen. That didn't work for me, or it didn't happen to me. Usually what causes the video to cut out, the DJI video to cut out on flips and rolls, is that the voltage regulator on the flight controller is not up to snuff. It's browning out, and it needs to be designed differently. 661 FPV suggests that it's crappy lipos. I doubt a lipo would sag that much that because the air unit will work down to 7 volts. So that's what's causing it. To be completely honest with you, I would go back to GEP-RC and say, I bought 2 of your quads. The video cuts out during flips and rolls. This is unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and tell me what I need to do to fix it or make it right. Now, if it were my quad and I just wanted to fix it, what you can do is you take the wire that powers the air unit, you pull it out of the plug, so instead of being powered from the 9-volt regulator on the flight controller, you solder it directly to the ESC positive battery wire. However, that won't work with an air unit. If you've got an air unit, that won't work if you're using 6S, because the air unit is technically not rated for 6S, although some people have said that it should be okay on 6S. It's a Vista. Articulated, if it's a Vista, then number one, whoever you bought them from, politely but firmly encourage them to make this right. Hold their feet to the fire. Don't be an asshole. Don't call them 5,000 times a day. Don't cuss at them or threaten them. But they sold you a product, and if what you're describing is the whole of the situation, and there's not some other piece of information you're leaving out, I don't want to like insert myself into a customer service situation, but if you're telling the whole story, the product is not right. It's defective and it needs to be fixed. The VTX should not brown out when you do flips and rolls. Period. So, I don't know how they're going to fix that. I don't know if they can fix that. So, if they're unable to make it right for you or unwilling, or you just get tired of dealing with it, what you can do to actually fix it is pull the power wire out of the plug that goes to the DJI unit and instead connect it to the ESC Plus pad on the ESC so it gets VBAT directly and it'll frickin' work. That sucks. But you shouldn't have to do that. Right, I don't want people calling up a vendor and saying, JB said you suck and you screwed up and you need to fix it. Because I have been on both sides of customer service issues, and like the person, I've had people email me to like try to get a vendor in trouble, sort of, or they think if they CC me on the email, then the vendor will pay more attention. I don't know, and I don't really like that. I mean, don't try to, but they're like, hey Bardwell, I got this brand new quad, and when I opened the box, there was a giant turd on top of it. And yeah, just a giant dog turd right on top of the quad. And I emailed the vendor and they said, F you, that's not a dog turd. I personally crapped on your quad because I don't like you. What do you think of that? And I'm like, wow, that's something. And I like forward the message to the store and I'm like, hey, do you have any idea what's going on here? And they're like, oh yeah, this guy. Here's the entire customer service history. And it turns out like literally none of it's true. So I try not to insert myself in customer service stuff, but I mean, that doesn't mean I don't have an opinion. Who let Amber Heard into the drone factory? Yes. If it's browning out from VBAT, that's a harder one. I got to read more super chats. Wesley Ryan, thank you for a $10 super chat. 5-inch hex or 6-inch quad for carrying a Hero 9. I don't like how heavy a 5-inch flies with a full-size GoPro. If you go with a hexacopter, your life gets a lot more complicated. You have a lot fewer choices in terms of frames. You have 2 more motors, 2 more ESCs. You can't use a 4-in-1 ESC anymore. So I would stay away from a hex. I would go with a 6-inch or a 7-inch. A 5-inch hex is going to have more thrust, I think, than a 6-inch. But if that's what you really care, if those are your 2 choices, I'd take a 6-inch quad because you just have a lot more flexibility in terms of parts and so forth. That's my personal take. Bee's Knees, thank you for a $5 super chat. I got a TX16S and your Xylo build. What's a good upgraded receiver and module for a noob? Mostly fly mid-range freestyle. I mean, Bee's Knees, I would steer you towards Express LRS. Express LRS has amazing performance and is really inexpensive. However, it has a learning curve. If you get flustered with having to flash things and configure firmware, then maybe Express LRS isn't for you. But I would at least ask you to look at some Express LRS tutorials and see whether you think it's for you. Because if you can get over that learning curve, if you're not put off by those small hurdles, then it is really good performance at a really good price. You won't go wrong with Crossfire. Crossfire is a lot simpler, but it's more expensive. And since there's only a single source for Crossfire hardware, it is more often out of stock. Josh Rainwater, thanks for a $5 super chat. I don't see a question from you, Josh Rainwater, but I'm going to assume you're just making a donation. So thank you for that. Lobo FPV, thank you for a $20 super chat. Can't get OSD to show up on HDLRC F428 TX20 V2. Resurrecting from an old build, everything is wired up. Ports seem correct. Video transmitter device ready, yes. Is this, first of all, let's just look up what is an HDLR CF428TX20V2. Is this a video transmitter? This is a stack, I see. XJB, could you not call it the XJB? I find that a little, I don't know. I just want to have all the JBs. No one else could be JB in FPV. I'm trademarking it. Can you trademark your name? Oh, how to trademark a name. Okay. Okay, good. Gonna get right on that. No OSD. The number one thing that can cause no OSD is that you have the wrong NTSC versus PAL setting for your camera. And since this depends on the camera, it might have been right on your previous build, but if you change the camera, it's wrong now. So if we connect and we go to the OSD tab, here is the setting right here, video format, auto PAL NTSC. Manually set it to PAL, then save and reboot, then power cycle the whole flight controller and quad and try and see if that works. And if that doesn't work, try NTSC. That's where I would start if you have no OSD. Now, a lot of times if you have no OSD, it's because your wiring is wrong. But with this stack, presumably it's wired right, I guess. I don't know. Hope that's helpful. Kyle T, thank you for a $2 super chat. When is Flow State being released to the public? As soon as possible. I'm not sure. I'm trying to put this the right way. As soon as possible. There are you know that we have been trying to sell it. Obviously, we haven't sold it yet, or we will be promoting it and telling you where you could see it. I said on my live stream a while back that there is a hard date in my mind for when, if it hadn't sold by that date, then I would strongly want to just do some kind of a self-release. We are very painfully aware, first of all, just how much people want to see it and how much we want you to see it, but also that the information in it, in some ways, is dated. Because, for example, a lot of the stuff about remote ID is less accurate than it was when it was first shot. So some of the interviews may have to be edited, for example. I don't know. Regardless, suffice it to say, we want it to be released as soon as we can. There is a date, a deadline, if you will, where if it hadn't sold by that date, then we would I would want to self-publish. I'm not the only one who gets to weigh in on that decision. Obviously, James Christensen, my partner of the film, would have an opinion, but I've said this publicly. I've said it to him. It's not news. There are other factors in play that mean that we can't make that decision today, but that date has been set, and I can't tell you when it is. And when it happens, when there's something, I'll let you know. I wish I had a better answer for you. I'm sorry to say. I cannot wait to get this out there. I am honestly disappointed that it hasn't sold. I don't want to say that. I don't want to dwell on that because I don't want to give an impression that it's, I mean, people who've seen it know how good it is. So I don't want to give an impression that, oh, it didn't sell, it must suck. It's just hard to sell a film. So anyway, that's the situation. At a time in the past, we committed to try to sell the film. Here's how I'll put it. At a time in the past, we committed to try to sell the film through certain channels, and we committed to doing that for a certain amount of time. And if we were to self-publish the film before that time expired, then we would potentially be undermining the attempts to sell the film. So then when that time expires, then we will come back to the table and say, okay, well, that didn't work. Time to sell the film ourselves. Time to publish it ourselves. License to Drive, it suggests a fundraiser. It's not about the money. I mean, obviously, it's always a little bit about the money. It's about commitments that we made to other people who are helping us sell the film. And then if we just self-publish, we undermine their work, which would be a problem. So, the good news is that if we self-publish, we have the option to do all kinds of stuff. Like we could have a director's cut 3-hour edit with all the stuff we cut out because nobody wanted to see it, except those of you who want to see it could potentially see it. We could do anyway. We'll have options. It is going to happen soon. I think it's going to be soon. Fair enough. That's all I can say. I'm really like, I've almost forgotten in some ways because I've kind of put it out of my mind. Because like, it's like, okay, now we're going to try to sell it. And I'm not really directly involved in trying to sell it. I don't have contacts at Netflix and so forth. I don't have contacts in the film industry. I'm not an agent. I'm not a producer in that way. So I was like, okay, let me know how it's going. And then, as the weeks and months went by and it still hadn't sold, and I was like, well, how's it doing this? What's going on? Well, we got this feedback from so-and-so, and they thought maybe, yeah, we got it on so-and-so's desk. Oh, yeah, what did they say? Oh, we haven't heard back from them yet. Oh, son of a... So, that's what it's been like, and I've kind of just went, okay, you know what? We got a deadline. When the deadline gets close, then I'll sort of pull my head out of the ground again. But until then, I'll just let the people who are trying to sell the film do what they do. Yeah. So anyway, I'm looking forward to getting it out there because when it gets out there, I'm so looking forward to all the feedback from people who love seeing it. I'm looking forward to seeing those analytics go up and seeing hopefully tens of thousands or more people watch it. And I'm looking forward to potentially making back the money I put into it, which was substantial. So all of that will be very nice. Anyway. I'll let you know. Thanks for asking that question. I'm sorry I don't have a better answer. Chase Walker 392, thank you for a $10 super chat. I wanted to thank you because I have learned so much from you for all your amazing content. Without you, I would have never got off the ground. Besides ham, FAA, drone rig, and trust FAA, what do I need? Ham license, FAA drone zone registration, and the trust test are all you need as long as you are not doing any kind of remotely commercial work. If you're doing any remotely or vaguely commercial work, then you need a Part 107 certification as well. Spaced Mouse, thank you for a $5 super chat. Why would someone consider a 4-inch freestyle drone over a 3-inch or a 5-inch? Spaced Mouse, it's a bit of a spectrum. A 4-inch is lighter and smaller than a 5-inch. It's larger, more powerful, and more efficient than a 3-inch. So it's a little bit more durable than a 5-inch because it's smaller. I've really enjoyed flying my Shocker 4-inch. I will say, though, the motors that are available for 4-inch are probably the weakest spot because on a 3-inch, you have smaller props, and so those smaller props have less leverage, the quad is lighter, and the motors tend to hold up okay. And on a 5-inch, you got big, beefy motors with 9mm bearings and 8mm shaft and so forth, and they hold up okay. Or sorry, 5mm shaft, it's an 8mm wrench. Sorry about that. So when you go down to 4-inch, you kind of have lightweight motors on relatively big props. That's the weak spot, I think. The bottom line is most people don't fly 4-inch freestyle. For those reasons. FVE for 253, thanks for a $5 super chat. I'm looking at a replacement ESC for the Evoke F5X 6S. Would it be worth cutting the panels and swapping to a 30 by 30? Is there a trusty 20 by 20 for bashing? FVE 253, the best 20 millimeter ESCs they hang out over the edge of the flight controller, of the 20 by 20 mounting stack, so they can use larger FETs. Does the Evoke even have 30 millimeter mounting holes? I don't think it does. I'm not going to get up and pull it off the wall to check. I don't think it does. So I really think you're going to need a 20 millimeter ESC. So then the question would be, would you get something like there's a Foxeer Reaper 20 millimeter. Is this the one? Let's look. Yeah. So this is the Foxeer Reaper 20 millimeter. This is an ESC that's used by a lot of racers. And as such, it's like, I mean, as 20 millimeter ESCs go, this has got to be one of the strongest. Really? Can I not just enlarge the dang picture? Why would you block that? Why would you block that? Why do website designers do this? Screw you. I can zoom in all I want. You can't stop me. I'm zooming in. Oh, great. It broke their webpage. Oh, yeah? You think I can't zoom in? I can zoom in. Why wouldn't you let me right-click? Open image in new tab. Oh, that's going to work. The product image didn't work. Shh. Why? Can no one ever do this again? This stupid thing where you break right-click and you make it not possible for me to, like... You son of a... Inspect element. Inspect element. Assets. Images. Damn it. Image. Where is it? Where's the image? This is not it. Oh, no, not the right one. Where's the image? I will get this image. Oh, they've hidden it. God dang it. I hate it. Anyway, you can see it hangs over the edges, so you would need something like this, and you would need to mod the side plates. Yeah. Why do they what do you care if I right-click your stupid image? What do you care? Kent J in the Discord got a question here. Can't let the patrons go ignored. Kent J asks, so I can get his question up. Kent J, are you there, Kent? I got a new Cadix Vista and I noticed it came with the firmware ending in 0606 on it. All my other DJI components have 0600 and I can't set the bit rate on the Vista to 50 megabits per second. Is there a workaround? Kent, it is completely safe to upgrade to 0606. It's the one ending in 015 that is the bad one. Okay? 0606 is safe. So you're fine. All right, continuing the super chats. FEE253, to finish up your question, yes, I would absolutely want to upgrade that ESC, but then again, you bought the Evoke. So you bought the Evoke because you want the cool side plates. So maybe I would just cross my fingers and get another iFlight ESC. I don't know. But yeah, Big Data Pimp says they disable right-click so you can't steal their picture. Okay, that's stupid, first of all. You can't steal a picture. Okay, first of all. And second of all, they disable right-click so you can't steal their picture. I can steal their picture! I can steal their picture all I want. Look, oh, and here we go. Oh, you can't see it because I changed the... Here we go. Screen clipping, and ready... Whoa, I'm stealing a picture! Ma, I'm sorry! I'm sorry, Ma! I didn't know I would grow up to be a thief! Oh no, my mother's crying right now because I stole a picture. Oh my God. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Can I just, wait a minute. Hold on a second. I can make as many as I want. Oh my God, I'm rich. I'm stealing as many pictures as I want. How do I change the canvas size? How do I change the canvas size? Paint! How do I change the canvas size? I gotta... Oh. Well, look, if it's stealing to take one picture, then I must be getting rich. Look at all the Foxy Reaper pictures I've got. Look. Oh, I'm rich. Oh, no, I broke one. What will I do? Stealing. Not stealing a picture. It doesn't stop you from stealing a picture. It just inconveniences. Why did it work that time? Hang on. Why did it work that time? I don't know why. That was open link in new tab. Oh, that was blocked. Open image in new tab. Oh, that worked. It's open link in new tab that's not working. It turns out it was user error in the end. Oh well. Okay, let's continue with the super chats. Ejectly, thank you for a $2 super chat. Have you talked to Nebula or Curiosity Stream for flow state? Have not. No, I haven't. That's an interesting idea. Would that be a... That's an interesting idea. Would it be a good idea to publish on Nebula and Curiosity Stream? They do... I don't know if that's the right place to release a... Do they do, like, pay-per-view? All on demand, sign up for less... Oh! They have, like... I actually didn't realize... Well, I don't have an account. I didn't realize they had, like, long-form documentaries and stuff. I didn't know that. That's an interesting idea. Thousands of documentaries. What the flip? Yeah, but... what do they pay you per view? I mean, like... I don't know. I think about it. If it's $12 a year, I don't think that ends up paying very much per view, to be honest. I don't know. All these other documentaries seem to be on. That's very interesting. I'll look into that. Kyle T, thank you for a $5 super chat. Saw Flow State during the film festival. Appreciate the response. It was awesome. Looking forward to purchasing it. Yeah. Mike Bergman, Netflix is, from what we heard from a person who sells films, Netflix doesn't want a part of much of anything that they didn't personally greenlight. So obviously, you know, if Marvel went to Netflix and said, hey, do you want our films? They'd say yes. But as far as small independent films go, they want to be involved from the beginning to help shape it in a way that works best for them. Otherwise, they don't want to touch it. That's what we were told. Philly Style FPV, thanks for a $2 super chat. I flashed BLHeli S to a 32 ESC FML. What now? You literally can't do that, Philly Style. Like, no disrespect intended. Maybe you figured out a way and I'm wrong, but you can't even connect to a BLHeli 32 ESC with BLHeli Suite for BLHeli S. So, yeah. Fat Pastor, thank you for a $20 super chat. I've super chatted you before about this. I think there's a real need in our community for someone like you or your channel to review Rotor Hazard. Other timers are impossible to get, and this is the only option. Can you help with this? Fat Pastor, first of all, thank you for the super chat. It's a very generous super chat. I have to say, Your request has in the past been registered. I know you and I have talked about this, and it's in the back of my head as something that I might do someday. But it is not at the top of my list of things that I'm going to do. So the best thing that could get me to do it at this time would be for someone else whose opinion I trust to tell me, no, you really need to do this. I mean, I'm just being completely honest with you. Like, my inherent internal desire to make that video is like a 5 out of 10. Like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I could see the value in that. But then there's other things that I want to do that are like 8 out of 10. And so it's just never going to happen. But if somebody like Evan Turner or Blunty or Ciotti came to me and they were like, no, you got to do this. This is a big deal. Here's why. Maybe I would go higher on my list because I value and trust their opinion. That's the honest answer. That's the honest answer. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'd be good. Maybe it'd be good for branching out to racing. Yeah. It is in the back of my head, though. It is in the back of my head. And it's on the list. It's just there are other things that are higher on the list. Kamel in the Discord. Let's make sure we're getting the patrons as well as the super chats. I got a question. For the last hour, I wrangled with a Maytag tail light, and I have almost given up on it, but it has a beeper I want to use. My Transtech F7V2 doesn't have a buzzer pad. Doesn't it? Transtech F7 V2. Is this the V2? Doesn't have a buzzer pad. That's hard to believe. Let's look. Well, I agree. I don't see a buzzer pad there. How about on the other side? Like, I'm looking for something that is a buzzer, but isn't obviously a buzzer. No, I agree. It doesn't have a... That's preposterous. How could it not have a buzzer? That's silly. That's just silly. So what can you do? Let's stipulate that it doesn't have a buzzer pad. I mean, it sure looks like it doesn't. What can you do? You might think that you could use resource remapping to remap the spare UART. But the problem is that the buzzer draws too much current and will burn out the pin on the MCU. Now, the buzzer pad on a flight controller has a buffer transistor so that the pin is just it's switching the buzzer on and off, but it's not actually carrying the current. So you cannot simply remap one of these pads, I don't know, M5. Like, you can't just remap M5 to buzzer and use that. It will work up until the buzzer burns out that pin and then it stops working. So one thing you can do is you can build your own transistor buffer circuit. If you're interested, you buy a little transistor and you build a circuit. That's a pain in the ass. Or you could use a self-powered buzzer like the V-Fly Finder. The self-powered buzzers don't draw power from the signal pin. They just use their battery. But you said you specifically want to use this Maytag tail light. I don't think you can use the Maytag tail light with this flight controller unless you build a transistor buffer circuit. I'm going to need to look in images. There's a... Yep, that's the image I'm looking for. Way back when, good old Oscar Liang has a tutorial about how to build this circuit. Good for him. October 2017. So here is a video. Here's a page from Oscar Liang showing how to build the... Oh, I better be able to open a new tab or I'm going to lose a freaking... Okay. This is what you would do. You would need to build this and wire it up to your flight controller and then remap your flight controller. Kevin Nebus, I'm not sure how we would use a Xylo PAL to control power delivery to a buzzer. I see what you're getting at. That's an interesting idea. Could you buy one of these VTX power switches? And that is essentially this. That's what this is. These pit switches, that's what this is. This is basically this circuit. Except there's a problem. I would bet that this is high side switched and the buzzer is low side switched. So it might be the wrong kind of transistor. So anyway. I think you're in a little bit of a tough situation, to be honest with you. Okay. Continuing on. iCloudFly here FPV, thanks for a $10 super chat. Can analog overexposure come from the VTX or flight controller? In short, no. The VTX just transmits the video. You can, if a VTX has like a messed up antenna or is getting electrical noise, you can get disruption of the video signal, but it won't do things like make the image brighter or darker. I've messed with all the settings and with no luck. New Unify Pro 32 and a new Explorer LR. If you really think it's the VTX, change the VTX, but I'm skeptical that it's the VTX. I don't think it is. Also, the milliamp hours on the on-screen display runs up quickly. You got to calibrate the current sensor. The current sensor is not calibrated right. Now, I would say you could use this method to calibrate your current sensor, but if it's running up like ridiculously quickly, it's not going to work. So you got to get the current scale. You got to get the current scale from your manufacturer. That's what I would say. People in the chat are saying the connection is sketchy. Oh, I see that it is. Why am I dropping frames? Hold on. Hold on a second. Let me check something. Thanks for pointing it out. My Dropbox isn't running. My Dropbox on my laptop is running though. Damn, ain't that a bitch? Hold on. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. My it looks like my laptop started Dropboxing in the background. It seems fine now. Seems fine now. Alrighty. I think we're good now. Sorry about that, guys. Lobo FPV, thanks for a $2 super chat. That was it. Auto NTSC PAL fixed it. Best $20 I ever spent. Awesome. Awesome. CCC Annie, thank you for 10 Hong Kong dollars. Is the FSI-6X good? It's no, but it's inexpensive, and it is available in some parts of the world where other things aren't. I would heavily steer you towards a radio that runs OpenTX. The FSI 6X doesn't run OpenTX by default, and it uses FlySky receivers, which are less common than other types of receivers. So it's not bad, but I would hesitate to call it good. But it's not expensive. It's inexpensive. And that's nice. David Hennison, thank you for a $5 super chat. Getting back into FPV after years off and ordered the TBS Mambo. Coming from Spectrum, I'm ignorant. Don't say that. Don't say that about yourself just because you use Spectrum. Not everybody who... Lots of smart people use Spectrum. I'm sure you're a smart person. Coming from Spectrum, I'm ignorant, so stick with Tracer or get into Express LRS. I mean, you bought the Mambo. You may as well keep using it. I don't know. Tracer is my least favorite of the 4 high-performance control links you could buy today. Ghost, Crossfire, Express LRS, and Tracer. It is the least flexible in terms of your choice of low latency versus long range. And because of the modulation method that they chose to use, Tracer has to run at very high output power to get even moderate range. By moderate, I mean, Wesley Vardy tested Tracer out to something like 20, 25 kilometers in open air with a wing up in the air. But like Ghost and Express LRS can go to 60 kilometers or more under those same, and Crossfire for the record, under those same conditions. So Tracer, maybe it has a third the range of Ghost, Express LRS, and Crossfire. There's many variables. That's an extremely rough approximation that is making many people upset with me right now for saying it. But the point is, Tracer is limited in terms of what it does. It's low latency, and that's it. Whereas Ghost and Express LRS, you can choose low latency, longer range. You have a little more flexibility, and it's my least favorite of those. Now, you already bought the Mambo, so if you want to keep using Tracer, more power to you. But if you're thinking, should I go to Express LRS? Well, you can put a module in the back of your Mambo. It is an option, and better to buy Express LRS receivers today than spend $200 on Tracer receivers and then switch to Express LRS. Wesley Vardy points out that Tracer had to be on 1 watt to reach the same range as Express LRS and Ghost on 100 milliwatts. So, yeah, that's a... Tracer, when Tracer came out, Ghost had just released, and Ghost was... I don't know for a fact. I assume that guys were still working on Express LRS, and someone was flying Express LRS at 250 hertz or something when Ghost released. But Express LRS hadn't really taken off in kind of like the public consciousness in the way that it is now. Certainly not in my consciousness. So there was Crossfire, which ran at 150 hertz, and that was the high performance link. And Ghost comes out, and it can go to 222 hertz, I think, was when it first released. Now it goes up to 500 hertz. And it's like, oh, wait, there's something more. And TBS dropped Tracer, which goes 250 hertz, and it was kind of like the fastest thing out there. And so there were people who jumped to Tracer because they wanted the lowest latency link, and Tracer basically was it. But then Tracer just stopped. Tracer isn't going to get any faster. Not until the whole Crossfire protocol is revamped to make their packets smaller. That's my opinion. Whereas Express LRS and Ghost were designed to go faster from day one. And so that period of time where Tracer at 250 hertz was like the fastest thing you could get, it ended. Now Ghost goes to 500 hertz. Express LRS goes to 500 hertz. So people who want low latency have no reason to choose Tracer, except if they just love Crossfire and love TBS, and they're like, cool, more power to you if that's how you feel. Spend your money how you want. But I think there's a lot less of a compelling case today for someone who isn't already invested in the TBS ecosystem to decide that Tracer is the direction they want to go. I would almost take Crossfire receivers over Tracer receivers today. Because Crossfire at least has great range and penetration. And the latency is not as good as Tracer, but yeah. Spectrum has the lowest latency by 100 times. VanLife FPV, I don't think that's possible. Like, we're already down at 1 to 4 milliseconds. So if you're saying Spectrum is lower than 1 millisecond by 100 times, I don't think that's possible for it to have that low of a latency. It's not possible. So yes, no, that's not correct. That claim is nonsense. Continuing with the super chats. You know what? Before we continue with the super chats, can I show you guys? I want to show you guys something. Somebody commented that the Clips channel is looking great. I got to give some credit here. Switch account. Let me switch. JB Livestream Clips. Can I do this without? Hang on. Did you guys know I have a Livestream Clips channel? Except until recently, it was just the FPV news, because I was not really making notes of clips during the live streams. I'm running the live stream. It takes enough attention that I did not make any notes of, oh, I got to clip this. And so, frankly, the channel was basically just re-uploading the news, which fine. That's fine. But it really didn't have any live stream clips on it. And Blunty said, why don't you let me do that? And Blunty took over. He is literally just running basically this whole channel at this point. He has been... Yes, we have some news stuff on here as well. But he has actually been uploading live stream clips. He's actually been uploading clips from live streams. So if you didn't know about this, first of all, go subscribe to Joshua Bardwell Livestream Clips. Obviously, you like watching the live streams live, but if you miss anything, there's clips up there. As well as news, the news articles. Yeah, get subscribed if you're not. So, thank you to Blunty. He started doing thumbnails. Look at him making thumbnails and shit. It's great. And I told him if we get to 3,000 subscribers, I will buy him a bottle of beard oil. Thought it was the least I could do. So. Ghost Branch FPV flies Tracer and is still very happy with it. Yeah, many people are happy with Tracer. Yeah. If it works for you. I mean, I've flown Crossfire on 150 hertz locked. That's how I fly most of my freestyle, basically all of my quads, except if I'm like really sure I'm going to need penetration. 150 hertz locked Crossfire is using FSK modulation. It's really, I mean, just crank it up to 1 watt and it gets the job done. Yeah. No shame there. Thank you, Philly Style FPV, for a $10 super chat. I connected to BLHeli configurator with a BLHeli32 ESC, flashed the latest option under flashed all, realized it's a 32-bit ESC, and now have no response in the motor tab. Listen. You can't connect to a 32-bit ESC in BLHeli configurator, and you definitely can't flash it, right? Am I wrong? Am I completely off base here? Can anybody tell, am I crazy? You literally can't flash a BLHeli32 ESC with BLHeli configurator. It's not possible. It isn't possible. Is it? I'm trying to think if I have any BLHeli S quads here. what have I got with BLHeli-S in it? No, I need BLHeli-32. Oh, that's easy. I don't want to just smoke an ESC for no reason. I don't want to just try. I'll just try to read it. Hang on. Oh, I'll need a battery. Dang it. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. Where's the... Oh, good. My props are on. That's exciting. Get a smoke stopper. All right. This is not possible. It's not possible what you're saying. I firmly believe that. So we got a smoke stopper. That's why it's okay that props are on. Oh, good. It tripped immediately. Is it broken or is it... Did it... No, no, no. Oh, fuck you. All right. I can't believe this. How about this smoke stopper? This'll work. Anybody remember this? The light bulb smoke stopper will work. 6S high. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're gonna plug the quad in. Plug the flight controller in. We got we need RC utilities. Hello, RC utility. Hello? No? We're not going to do that? All right. Okay, thanks, Windows. That was real helpful. So here's BLHeli Suite 32. And COM3 connect. And read setup. All right, this is a BLHeli-32 ESC for sure. We close it out. Cool, thanks. That was real good. Now we're going to open BlueJ configurator. Which is a BLHeli-S configurator. We'll go to COM3 and we'll hit connect. So it connects. But now if I hit read setup, what happens? Well, this is very interesting. Really? I mean, I have to know. No, see, when I hit flash firmware, it just won't do it. Now, if I then hit ignore inappropriate MCU and layout, no, it still won't do it. It won't do it. I cannot flash it. All right, let's try it with actual BLHeli configurator. Oh no, BLHeli Suite. Actual old school BLHeli Suite. COM3, connect. Read setup. Found BLHeli-32 ESC. This is not going to do it. Nope. Won't do it. Read failed. Flash BLHeli. No, won't do it. No. Something about your story does not add up. It is not possible to flash a BLHeli-32 ESC with BLHeli-S configurator. It isn't possible. I mean, the app simply cannot or will not do it. All right. Something doesn't add up about your story. I was really sure. And now I got to come back to the comment. What is Philly Style FPV saying in the chat? Hold on. Sorry guys, I can't read the chat while I'm doing that. Let's look for Philly Style. Oh, cancel the question. Okay. All right, well, good. I mean, I'm glad I got the opportunity to check it out. No, none of them will do it, man. None of them will do it. Okay, continuing on. Firecracker92, thanks for a $2 super chat. My stream was stuttering because of all those images I stole. Haha. Aber the Ham, thanks for a $2 super chat. Pyro did not ever catch the people who robbed their warehouse, as far as I know. And Mar, thank you for a $10 super chat. Is there a noticeable difference if I upgrade from FreeSky to Express LRS? I fly great in the simulator, but I can't get that same feel in real life. Under some circumstances, I think you would notice the difference in latency between RxSR and Express LRS. Under other circumstances, you would not. If you race gates a lot, you do need a lot of very precise timing to your moves, the difference may be noticeable. If you just fly around a park or cruise around, probably you wouldn't be able to notice. The difference between simulator and real life has a lot to do with real life physics and the fact that in the simulator you have nothing to be afraid of. Everybody flies better in the sim because they have nothing to lose, so they just do all the crazy moves and pull them off. Fancy FPV, thanks for a $5 super chat. I have the SkyZone Sky04X did a firmware update, and I'm confused on what setting to use on steady view. Well, there's like mix 1, 2, and 3, right? And those settings, you should start with the default. And if you get the situation where you have sync loss and your image rolls to the right, then move it down 1 notch. So I don't remember if it starts on mix 3 or mix 1. But if it starts on mix 3, then go down to 2, then go down to 1. But start on 3 and see if you get the rolling screen effect or anything like that. Christopher Raff, thank you for a $5 super chat. I have a newbie drone Hummingbird F4 that keeps intermittently losing connection mid-flight. Any idea where to start troubleshooting? I mean, if you have the built-in FreeSky antenna, FreeSky receiver, the antenna often is an issue, a broken antenna or something. Betaflight 4.3, if you have, I'm not sure if that Hummingbird F4 has the custom firmware that only newbie drone makes, but if you've somehow managed to get Betaflight 4.3 on it, release candidate 3 at least, and maybe 4, had issues with SPI receivers that were fixed by going down to 2K PID loop. So maybe that's related. People are saying Mr. Steele posted a selfie of him in the hospital. Is that true? My goodness. Where did he post it? I mean, he's in frickin' Nepal, so there's ample opportunity to injure yourself while hiking around on a mountain. Didn't say. I certainly don't know anymore. Oops, wrong scene. Wow. Hey, Blunty, where are you, man? Talby FPV, thanks for a $10 super chat. I was able to bring 2 damaged battery cells that were at 4.15 back to 4.2 by plugging only the XT60 connector to the top of my parallel charger. Is this a coincidence, or what do you think? There's so much that makes me cringe about this comment without, you've got damaged battery cells. How are they damaged? They were at 4.15 volts. That doesn't mean damage. I'm not sure what kind of damage they had. But anytime somebody talks about damaged battery cells and bringing them back to life, I cringe. And then anytime somebody talks about parallel charging and just, yeah, I plugged into the parallel charger, just let's see what happens, I cringe. So I think what happened, I don't know. I really actually kind of can't even imagine what you're talking about, Talby FPV. You plugged the XT60 into the parallel charge board. What else was plugged into the parallel charge board? If you had battery cells at 415, why didn't you just run a balance charge? Why didn't you just run a balance charge program and bring them back up again? I feel like I'm missing some aspect to this story. So there we go. Were they at 3.15? Even that, you should just be able to charge. All right, we're caught up. I guess until Talby FPV gives us more information, we're caught up on the chat. It's the super chats. Safety Alerts wants to know, as long as we're talking about latency, shouldn't we be thinking about the video latency? Yeah, absolutely. Latency is a loop. The loop is from the controls. Let's start at the control sticks. It's a loop, so you can start anywhere you want. It's from the control sticks. You move the control stick, the signal goes through the mixer and Express LRS out to the module, from the module out to the air, through the air to the receiver, out the receiver to the flight controller. The flight controller reads the stick positions. The flight controller runs the PID loop and runs the filters. The flight controller at the end of the loop determines the new motor outputs. The flight controller transmits the new motor signal output out the motors to the ESC. The ESC changes the motor speed, which takes time due to momentum and mass, or inertia rather. The motor changes speed, the prop pushes on the air. The quadcopter begins to move. That movement is picked up by the camera. The camera sends that signal back through the video transmitter, back to the goggles, out to the screen, into your eyes, into your brain. Your brain thinks about what it's seeing and decides what to do with your fingers, and that's the whole control loop. And my assertion is that every part of that loop, the latency is all of equal importance. So if you remove 10 milliseconds of latency from your video link, my assertion is that that is indistinguishable from removing 10 milliseconds of latency from the control link. At the end of the day, what is your brain aware of? You moved the sticks, and some amount of time later, your eyeball saw the quadcopter move. I don't think you can tell, and I have no proof of this. This is a pure, unsupported hypothesis. I can't think how you would test it, because it's very hard to control all these variables and only change one of them. But my assertion is, you move the sticks, the control loop happens, your eyes see the quad move on the screen, and that total latency is actually the only thing you can be aware of that affects your experience of flying the quad. 10 milliseconds in the control link, 10 milliseconds in the video link, I don't think you could tell the difference. So, then if you have a 30 millisecond video link, does it matter if you have 4 milliseconds shaved off of your control link? Well, 4 milliseconds is a lot less than 30. I think what really matters, though, is the total percent by which you have reduced the overall control loop. So, for example, I'm gonna take a big risk and do math on stream, which always ends badly because I make some dumb mistake. But 1/8 kilohertz is 125 nanoseconds, less than a millisecond. So if you go from an 8K PID loop to a 4K PID loop, you've doubled that to 250 nanoseconds. Doesn't matter. It might matter in terms of the PID loop and your prop wash handling, but in terms of the latency that you perceive, that you could not detect that. Okay? So there are some parts of the control loop that are so fast that doesn't matter from the perspective of your perception of the latency of the control loop. And the PID loop is one of them. DShot 300 versus DShot 600. It's possible that that there is a pilot out there who could tell some difference in the way the quad flies between DShot 300 and DShot 600. But that difference, I submit, is not latency. Because the difference in latency between those two protocols is so ridiculously small that it's just beyond human perception. So which parts of the control loop have latency that might be perceptible to a human? And two of those are the video link and the control link, which have latency in the, say, for video, it's maybe between 15 and 30 milliseconds. And for control, depending on your control link, it's maybe between 2 and 30 milliseconds for a really slow one, like an old S-Bus link. And that's why we focus on those so much. So what's the total control link latency? I mean, I don't know, but it's at least your control link plus your video link. So let's say for Crossfire, that's maybe 16 milliseconds. And for DJI, that's maybe 30 milliseconds. So we have 45, 46 milliseconds. At that point, if you knock 4 milliseconds off of that, one way to look at that is it's 4 milliseconds. Who could possibly notice? Another way to look at it is you knock 10% off your control link, off your control loop. And that's kind of, maybe a big deal. I'm sorry, microseconds. Not milliseconds. Milliseconds, microseconds, nanoseconds. I told you it was risky to do math on stream. So I just go blah, 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 and I don't cross-check anything. And then I say something dumb. So there you go. Thank you, hello FPV, for knowing the metric system. Excuse me. Oh. But my point is that I think that if your total latency is in the range of 30 to 50 milliseconds, knocking 5 or 10 milliseconds off that, probably some people could notice that. If your total latency was in the range of 100 milliseconds, knocking 5 or 10 milliseconds off that, maybe it wouldn't make as much of a difference. All right. Golden FPV wants to know, thank you for a $2 super chat. Why don't you suggest GNB 27 on your site? Is BT 2.0 better? I want to see if Ciati Ciati, are you here? Is Ciati watching? He has not responded. I have to tell you, we talked about, so I consulted with Ciati and a few other people who I work with on the parts for the Tiny Whoop page. In case you didn't know. Oh, shoot. We released the Tiny Whoop page today. We suggest the BT 2.0 connector on the batteries and the quads. I will say we discussed the GNB connector. I remember in the phone call we discussed the GNB connector, and there was a reason why Ciati said that he would take the BT 2.0 over the GNB. But I don't remember what that reason is. One reason I think is that the GNB connector is not widely available. Like you can't buy very many batteries with the GNB connector on it, whereas you can buy very good batteries with the BT 2.0. But I wish Siadi were here to weigh in on why what his logic was, because I know he had an opinion on it as well. Phantom FPV. When will we see an ESC made in the USA? Well, first we're going to have to define made in the USA, right? Just to be pedantic. Like Brain FPV makes flight controllers in the USA, and they actually do solder their components to their PCB in the USA. Like, I actually know that for a fact. But they don't etch their own PCBs. They buy the PCBs, and I don't know where they buy them. There's actually PCB manufacturing in the USA, I think. But what there isn't is component manufacturing. So if you decide you're going to manufacture an ESC or a flight controller in the USA, the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to buy components from overseas. Probably China, Taiwan, etc. At which point there are some benefits to manufacturing in the USA in that you can manage the warehouse and you can manage the quality control and you can do the customer support, but it adds a lot of cost. It adds a lot of cost. That's the bottom line. So if you look at an American company like Lumineer, Get PV, owned in America, and I picked Lumineer or Get PV because they do a lot of original design. Like a company like a Race Day Quads or a Pyrodrone, they have some white label parts, like Race Day Quads batteries or GMB batteries, and they're just white labeled Race Day Quads. Nothing wrong with that. And for example, Pyrodrone worked with a manufacturer to develop the Pyrodrone backpack. So I'm not saying it never happens, but I'm picking Get FPV, Lumineer, because they do a lot of original manufacturing. And even when they do it, though, the actual manufacturing is all in Asia. They have a factory in Asia, facility, who does their work. And it's because that's where all the components are. So you don't have to ship all the components over to the USA, import them, and then manufacture them. You just do all your manufacturing in China, and then you import the stuff, the final manufactured goods. And the labor's a lot cheaper. And that's the bottom line. So going back to, especially Phantom, I mean, we look at ESCs today, and an ESC that 2 years ago would have cost $50 today costs $80. What would that cost if it was made in the USA? I shudder to think. So, when will we see an ESC made in the USA? Not until prices come down. As long as an ESC from China costs $80, ain't nobody going to be making them in the USA. Now, maybe we could talk about something like a high-end ESC. Like, I don't know where APD is manufactured. I don't know. But like, if you look at a company like APD that makes high-end ESCs for expensive quadcopters like Cinelifters and so forth. They're not quadcopters, technically. I just say quadcopters. There you might see a case where having them built in the USA under the watchful eye of someone in the United States who is going to really care about every single one of them, and you're going to sell them for $200 a piece, then it might start to make sense. So, let's see here. All right, good question. Well, I'm going on tonight. I'm on a roll tonight. Blunty's going to be real busy with the Clips channel, I tell you what. I feel like we got some gold tonight. I don't know. Hope you guys agree. Only 346 viewers. A little surprising. A little surprising. Oh, haha. We were closer to 400, but they all left when the stream stuttered. Oh, so sad. Stream's not stuttering anymore, though, is it? No. That's what you get. Oh, it came back up, though. Well, sort of. Oh, well. Oh, let's see here. I guess Ciati's not back to answer the question about GMB 27s. Safety alerts. Thanks for a $2 super chat. Just for a genuine response. I'm nothing if not genuine, my friend. Brandon File, thank you for a $5 super chat. How did the meetup with Minchan Krim and crew come to be? You have any other shindigs coming up this summer at the Bardwell compound? The meetup with Minchan Kim, etc. So here's Evan Turner, heads up FPV, lives in Maryville, Tennessee. That is about 25 minutes from where I live. And Minchan Kim came to the USA because he was going to the Costa Rica race. And he stopped in the USA for a couple weeks because as long as you're flying all the way from Asia to the US, you may as well stay for a while. And he actually stayed with Evan Turner. They put him up in his house. And then they said, hey, can we come over? And I was like, yeah, you should come over and race. And that's basically it. Yeah, I don't know. And now we're caught up on Super Chats. So there we go. Cool Cat wants to know, FPV News generally has more viewers than the live streams. Do you know why? I mean, I don't. I'm not sure that's true. I guess that's a little true. FPV News sometimes gets into 600-700. Maybe the news is more of a focus topic. Maybe people like Blunty better. I think a Q&A live stream is a little meandering. And it's longer. Not everybody sticks around. Whereas the news is a little more focused. I don't know. It's all good, though. I'm super happy that people show up. How are we doing on Super Chats? Our Super Chats are looking good. Our Super Chats are looking okay, even though the views aren't super high. I wonder if that's true. If we go to live streams, what do we got for live streams? So here are past streams. Q&A stream 5,000, news 12,000. Q&A stream 6,500, 7,000, 15,000. Wow. Yeah, no, the news is about double the Q&A streams. It's about double. Interesting. Wow. How about that? The news also seems to have... No, that's not true. Yeah, interesting. Well, that Elden Ring stream didn't do well. Oh. Yeah, the news does really well. Now, hang on. Let me check something else. Let's see. If we look at revenue, and then can we look at revenue just for the live streams? Can I search maybe? Filter live stream. Oh. Filter on Live/on demand. Can we do that? Yes. Oh, but it's not going to actually show revenue. Oops. Estimated revenue by... Oh. Well, what if we change it? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get this to... More metrics, revenue. Nope. Absolutely no revenue information for live streams. Okay, well. All right, anyway. Never mind. I was going to try to see if the Q&A's got more... Because the Q&A gets a lot more super chats. So I would bet that even though the FPV News gets twice as many views, the Q&A gets way more money. Hey, there's Ciati. Hey, Ciati, why didn't we use the GNB27 connector? I remember we talked about it. Why didn't we use the GNB27 connector on the Whoop page? Joseph S. wants the Joshua Bardwell gaming channel. I know Blunty is very into gaming. I would love to partner with Blunty on pretty much anything he wants to work on. The problem is that, like, how many hours of gaming do I do a week? At most, like 2 or 3 hours. At most. So, like, what am I going to contribute if I try and co-host a gaming stream with Blunty? A gaming, like if we did the gaming news or something. I don't really know if I'll have a lot to contribute. Yeah. So that was my, yeah. So the BT 2.0 is just much more popular and more available. And Ciati has heard, and also Vinny Shipman in the Discord is saying that GNB has really bad tolerances. Some are tight, some are loose, some make good connections, some are useless. That is also what Ciati says. Aerospace Inc. says, you do somewhat discourage super chats during the news. I know. It's just during the news, I don't want to constantly be interrupted by reading super chats. I just want to do the news. I mean, I'm not blaming you guys. I'm just saying that's the nature of the format. Anyway. The JB15 connector. No, sir. No, sir. Sam Sparks wants to know, why will your charger only let you discharge to 3.0 volts? So, Sam, some chargers have a destroy mode that will take the battery all the way down to 0 volts. But most chargers only discharge to 3 volts because they don't want to accidentally destroy the battery when all you meant to do was cycle it. They don't want to accidentally destroy the battery without you meaning to. FPV Jim asks... Ooh, this is going to be a controversial question. FPV Jim asks, have you ever tried a Futaba? I switched to one, and I stand by my belief that the build quality beats Radio Master. Yeah, no shit. Jim, you're 100% right. Futaba build quality trounces Radio Master. Now, hang on, though. Hang on, obviously. Let's look for a... What's Futaba? Futaba radio. Let's just look for a Futaba radio. Tower Hobbies? Okay, we'll shop at Tower Hobbies. Futaba. Can we shop surface transmitters, aircraft transmitters, shop aircraft transmitters? Now, here is a 161Z for $769. Ooh, now if I was okay with 10 channels, if I didn't want 16 channels, I could go down to the 10 channel for $429. That's okay. 10 channels is fine. Crossfire only does 8 or 12 channels. No big deal. $429. Build quality going to be way better than Radio Master. Actually, you know, those switches pretty much just look like the same switches that everybody uses. But the gimbals are probably way better. The AGO1 gimbals are pretty good. I mean, the soldering is probably really good. You know, it probably feels really good in the hand. Now, does this run... Can I use Express LRS with this? Crossfire, Tracer, or am I going to be stuck with 2.4 gigahertz frequency hopping. I think you need the 14 to use Crossfire. I don't think you can use Express LRS at all. Oh. Well, but it does have voice output. So there's that. My point is that, yes, Futaba are excellent, excellent radios. But they don't do. Am I going to run the Betaflight Lewis script on that? No. Can't do that. Am I going to run the Express LRS Lewis script? No. Am I going to, there's all kinds of things that, am I going to run Express LRS at all? No. Oh. Well, what about the new VTX backpack function? Where I can change channels in my controller, and then my video transmitter and my goggles change channels together. No, can't do that. So it doesn't matter to me how good the Spectrum, the Futaba Spectrum radios are. They're very good. They don't do what I want. If I'm into off-roading, and you pull up in a BMW M3, and you say, "This is the best car," I'm like, it doesn't matter. My beat up old Jeep is going to do better the minute we leave the tarmac. It's the right tool for the right job. And those radios, to me, are not the tools that an FPV pilot wants, because the culture and technology of FPV is based around OpenTX and EdgeTX, and those radios don't run OpenTX and EdgeTX. And no matter how much you think Futaba's frequency hopping is so good, it's not as good as Express LRS, because LoRa is magic. So, Andy Dredd, you need the 16 or the 18 to use the Express LRS module. How much are they? $769 and up. Yeah. I mean, if you compare to a $500 Radio Master, that's actually starting to get pretty close in price. So anyway, those are great radios. They're just not the tool that I want to use, in the same way that a BMW M3 is a great car, but it's not good for off-roading. Oh, and then if anything goes wrong, where's the tutorials? I better be able to call that 1-800 helpline, because there sure ain't no YouTube tutorial telling me how to do what I want to do. Anyway. Thank you, Longhorn Taco, for a $10 super chat. What are you doing with the new building in your pasture? New studio? I've noticed the new camera angle on some of your recent videos. Green screen? None of the above. None of the above. That building doesn't actually belong to me. So we're just going to leave that out there and let you guys really wonder what's going on. It's not a new studio. It's not my building. We had a friend of the family who needed a place to put a house. And we had a place to put it. So that's the short version of the story. That's the thing. Aber the Ham, dead on. I'm going to take a crappy radio that runs OpenTX over a spectacular radio. If a Futaba was $200, I'd still buy a Radio Master, because it doesn't run OpenTX, and that's just what I do. Now, I wish Futaba... I said this. Futaba was at International Open 2-3 years ago, I think it was, when I went. And I went to International, I think it was 2018 or 2000, I think it was 18. I'm not sure, maybe 19. It doesn't matter. And I went up to, and I was like looking at the radio, and like, it's a really nice radio. It's like, you going to release one with OpenTX? I don't think they thought that was funny. If Futaba releases a radio with OpenTX, then you could make an argument that it's worth the money to an FPV pilot. But Jeff Schubert, any reasons to avoid EdgeTX? Nope, not a one. Do it. Do it right now. Switch right now. There's no reason not. Yep, do it right now. Aber the Ham points out that Johnny FPV is loyal to his Futaba. I mean, Johnny's sponsored by Futaba. Now, normally when someone says that a pilot chooses gear because of their sponsorship, I scoff and I say, are you seriously going to tell me that a pilot who could fly any gear he wants is going to choose a radio based on a sponsorship deal when he could choose a better radio? The thing is, I feel like Johnny probably pulls enough sponsorship money to make the decision for you. I don't know. I mean, I don't doubt that he likes the radio. The other thing is that Johnny, this is tricky because I'm talking about a real person, but I'm also talking about a sort of an entity out there in the world who is kind of like a celebrity. Like, I don't know what Johnny does in his personal time, but the image that I get of Johnny when I see what he presents to the world is that he is not a part of FPV culture the way that, like, a Mr. Steele is. Like, I feel like Steele is an FPV enthusiast as well as a professional who uses FPV as a tool. And I feel like Johnny is a professional who uses FPV as a tool. I don't feel like is Johnny excited that Express LRS exists? Does it help him, make great videos and earn a paycheck and raise his own prestige? It's not. I mean, Crossfire with Futaba gets the job done for him. Whereas there's people out there who are just so into FPV as a hobby that they are just like, what's the next new thing? Ghost Branch was complaining about this earlier on the Discord. They just love FPV and they want to try new things and they think it's cool and they want to touch every aspect of it and have their fingers in it. And, and I don't. So when you tell me Johnny flies, when I say a radio without OpenTX is not the tool for FPV, like as a culture. And then you say, well, Johnny flies Futaba. Those two statements are not actually contradictory. Because yes, Johnny is an FPV pilot, but culturally, Johnny is a pro cinema pilot. And more fundamentally, Johnny just is Johnny and is in his own world, which no one else is really in. So he flies whatever he thinks he wants to fly, and it gets the job done for him, and it's a good radio. But I don't actually think that contradicts my statement about Futaba and so forth not being sort of like at the heart of FPV. Vanover, I don't know if he still does, but Vanover also flew Futaba for a while. He liked him. He didn't even run Crossfire. He just ran Futaba receivers. And they're good. And let's not forget that they're good radios. Like, the guys who fly $10,000 and up planes, they want Futaba and Spectrum because they can't risk that a bad solder joint on a stupid radio master like F's them over and crashes their plane. And for those guys, maybe it makes sense that it's worth more to have a radio that you're confident in than a radio that can, like, run a Lewis script. Okay. Well, we're about 5 minutes from the end of the stream. Ciati is going to be streaming at 10. And he's going to start posting the link to his stream. We're going to take a few more questions. And we'll wrap up. JD wants to know, would the Zorro Express LRS be a good first controller for myself and my 8-year-old daughter? JD, I think the Zorro is a good size for a young kid's hands, as opposed to the larger controllers, which kids can use, but they struggle a little bit with the larger radios. So I think that's a good choice. Express LRS, as I always like to say, has a little bit of a learning curve. It is surmountable if you're comfortable flashing stuff and configuring firmware and flashing it. The learning curve is not a big deal, but it is there, and I want to acknowledge that before I just, I don't want to like blow smoke up your butt. So yeah, it's a good choice. Family Guyver wants to know, is the Crossfire Nano Pro 500 milliwatts worth it? That depends, Family Guyver. What do you think the advantage of the Nano Pro 500 milliwatts is? Nano Guyver's like, I don't know. That's why I asked you, you dumbass. Okay, good point. People see that 500 milliwatt spec and they think, oh, 500 milliwatts, I want that. The 500 milliwatts is only for telemetry. If you don't need long-range two-way telemetry, then you don't need the Pro. So really only people doing real long-range stuff. Even like if you're running 150 hertz, the Nano is fine. Bob Rips says, it seems like Futaba and Spectrum missed the FPV buzz. Well, it's an interesting, some years ago, Rotor Riot did an episode at Horizon Hobby, and we spoke with a marketing guy or project manager. I don't remember what his exact title was. And he was a big FPV enthusiast, and he wanted to help push the company more towards FPV. And we said, look, you can't sell a 6-channel or an 8-channel controller that's not programmable to people who are used to OpenTX. We know that there's no reason you can't give us 16 channels on a $200 radio. We know those channels are there, and you're just not giving them to us because you need to segment your market. You have to get over that. You have to give us a $300 or $400 radio that has 16 channels and programmability like OpenTX. And the problem with that was that when you have airplane pilots buying Spectrum radios, and they're used to segmenting their market based on 6-channel, 8-channel, 10-channel, 12-channel, 14-channel, 16-channel. And the 16-channel radio has a whole bunch of other stuff that the lowered radios don't. But here's the thing. All of that stuff is software. It's things like additional programmable mixes. And we know that a $60 Tyrannus radio can do that running OpenTX. We know that there's no reason why you have to pay $1,300 to have 16 channels and 30 programmable mixes. We know that. We're not buying it. But all those airplane guys that spent $1,300 on their 16-channel radio with 30 programmable mixes are going to be real pissed off if Spectrum were to release a $400 radio with 16 channels and 30 mixes. So Spectrum and Futaba, in my opinion, have backed themselves into a corner. They have a huge user base that they have trained to pay attention to completely artificial specs like channel count and number of mixes. And they can't afford to upset that apple cart. And FPV pilots realize that that's all bullshit. It's all artificial marketing bullshit, and we're not going to buy into it. And that's why Futaba and Spectrum, one reason, anyway, why Futaba and Spectrum have missed the boat when it comes to FPV. Because they can't afford to alienate their existing customers. What they would need to do is create a sister brand that's not named Spectrum and not named Futaba and sell it just to FPV pilots. And all the airplane pilots will go, oh, what is that? We don't like that. but they wouldn't be upset that someone had yanked the rug out from under them. Okay. It's 10 o'clock. That's it. That was the last topic of the night. It's Not Sam says, backed into a corner. Seems to me like they've got the line of sight pilots exactly where they want them. Yes, that is true. But that market is shrinking and FPV is growing, at least for the time being. Eventually, 5 or 10 years from now, they're going to be sorry. They're going to wish that they had done it differently. All right, guys. I'm going to do one more. Capernaum has been trying to ask this question all live stream, and I've missed it. What's the best position for my Moxon antenna on my receiver and the best position for my Express LRS antenna on my quad? You want the Express LRS antenna high up if you can get it high up. But the real answer is that unless you're doing super long range stuff, it doesn't matter because Express LRS has shitloads of range. Wesley Vardy could probably weigh in more. Anyway, that's going to do it, folks. Happy flying, you guys. I'll see you throughout the week. But that's going to do it for this stream. Have a great stream, Siati. Good night, everybody.